Fire Road 12 is a maintenance access road. Rangers patrol it in shifts around the clock, except between 2 and 4 a.m. During those 2 hours, Fire Road 12 is officially closed. Not for maintenance, not for safety, for the headlights. Rangers who patrol during the prohibited hours report seeing headlights approaching from the opposite direction, headlights that never reach them. The lights stay exactly 400 yards ahead, maintaining perfect distance no matter how fast or slow the ranger drives. And when rangers stop their vehicles and turn off their lights, the approaching headlights turn off too, at exactly the same moment. Fire Road 12 remains closed between 2 and 4 a.m. because the headlights aren't approaching. They're mirroring. Fire roads are simple infrastructure. Unpaved access routes cut through wilderness to reach remote areas quickly during emergencies. They're not scenic. They're not maintained for public use. They exist for one purpose: getting equipment to fires before they spread. Fire Road 12 runs 11 miles through the northern sector, narrow, straight for most of its length, no intersections, no structures. Just a single-lane dirt track carved through dense pine forest with occasional turnouts for passing. Standard protocol calls for twice-daily patrols, morning and evening. Rangers drive the length of the road, check for washouts, fallen trees, illegal camping. The road needs to stay clear because when a fire breaks out, seconds matter. In 2016, the Forest Service extended patrol coverage to 24-hour shifts. Rangers would drive Fire Road 12 every 6 hours, day and night, to ensure year-round access. The first incident occurred on the third night of the new schedule. Ranger Michael Torres drew the 2 a.m. patrol. He entered Fire Road 12 from the south access point at 2:17 and began his standard run north. The road was clear, conditions normal, temperature 48 degrees, no wind, light fog in the low sections but nothing that affected visibility. At mile marker 4, Torres saw headlights. Approaching from the north, one set, standard spacing, high beams. Torres slowed. The road was too narrow for 2 vehicles to pass, except at designated turnouts. The nearest turnout was at mile 5, approximately half a mile ahead. He continued forward at reduced speed, watching for the approaching vehicle to slow as well. The headlights maintained their position. Torres checked his speed, 20 miles per hour. He checked the headlights, still approaching, still maintaining what appeared to be the same distance. He slowed to 15, then 10. The headlights stayed exactly where they were, fixed at the same point ahead, not growing larger, not closing the distance. Torres stopped his vehicle completely. The headlights stopped too. Not gradually, instantly, as if the approaching vehicle had braked at the exact microsecond Torres had applied his own brakes. Torres sat in his truck, engine idling, hands on the wheel. The headlights ahead remained motionless, 2 steady beams cutting through the fog. He keyed his radio. Range 6 to base. I have an unidentified vehicle on Fire Road 12, northbound lane, approximately mile 4.5. Vehicle is not responding to approach, requesting status check. Dispatch responded immediately. Range 6. No other units are assigned to Fire Road 12 tonight. Confirm your location. Fire Road 12, mile marker 4. I have visual on headlights ahead, stationary. A pause. Then, Range 6, you are the only authorized vehicle on that road. Advise caution. Torres felt his chest tighten. His hands went cold on the steering wheel. He tapped his accelerator, moved forward slowly, 5 miles per hour. The headlights ahead moved too, maintaining exact distance, staying precisely where they had been relative to his position. Torres stopped. The headlights stopped. He reversed 10 feet. The headlights reversed 10 feet. Torres's throat closed. His vision tunneled. He was watching something that shouldn't be possible. He turned off his headlights. The lights ahead turned off at the same instant. Complete darkness, no delay. Simultaneous extinction, as if both sets of lights were controlled by the same switch. Torres sat in the black, his truck idling, the forest pressing in on all sides. His dashboard lights glowed faintly. His radio hissed with static. He counted to 30, then he turned his headlights back on. The approaching lights turned on too, same position, same angle, same intensity. Torres put his truck in reverse and backed down Fire Road 12 until he reached the southern access point. He did not look away from his mirrors. He did not turn around. The headlights followed him the entire way, maintaining perfect distance, never closing, never falling behind. When Torres exited Fire Road 12, the lights stopped at the entrance. They remained there, motionless, until Torres was out of sight. He filed a report that used words like atmospheric reflection, temperature inversion, and optical phenomenon. But he requested reassignment to daytime patrols. The request was approved within 24 hours. The second incident occurred 3 weeks later. Ranger Jessica Kern had taken over the overnight shifts. She'd been with the Forest Service for 8 years and had no patience for, as she put it, ghost stories told by rookies who can't handle night duty. When dispatch briefed her on Torres's report, she laughed. "Headlights don't follow people," she said. "Headlights belong to vehicles. Vehicles have drivers. Either someone was screwing with him, or he saw a reflection. Either way, I'm not scared of light." Kern entered Fire Road 12 at 2:04 a.m., earlier than Torres had. She wanted to see if timing mattered. She drove with her high beams on, her radio volume low, her windows cracked to keep herself alert. At mile marker 3, she saw the headlights. Approaching from the north, single set, high beams, exactly as Torres had described. Kern felt a flutter in her chest but pushed it down. This was a vehicle. Someone was on the road, probably a local who'd ignored the closure signs. She'd handle it. She slowed and keyed her radio. Range 7 to base. "I have a vehicle on Fire Road 12, northbound, preparing to make contact." "Copy, range 7. Proceed with caution." Kern continued forward. The headlights ahead remained fixed, not closing, not retreating. She checked her speed, 15 miles per hour. The lights stayed where they were. She stopped her truck. The lights stopped instantly. Kern felt her pulse quicken, her hands tightened on the wheel. She tried what Torres had tried. She reversed slowly. The lights reversed. She accelerated forward, pushing to 30 miles per hour on the narrow road, faster than was safe, but she needed to test this, needed to see what would happen if she committed. The headlights maintained exact distance, always 400 yards ahead, never closer, never farther. Kern slammed her brakes. The lights stopped with perfect synchronization, no delay, no lag, instantaneous response. She turned off her headlights. The lights ahead extinguished at the same moment. Kern sat in the darkness, her breath shallow, her heart pounding. The forest around her was utterly silent. No wind, no animals, just the low idle of her engine and the faint hiss of her own breathing. She counted to 60 this time, tried to steady herself, tried to think. Then she turned her headlights back on. The approaching lights returned, same position, same brightness. But this time, Kern noticed something Torres hadn't mentioned in his report. The lights were angled exactly like hers, not approaching on a curve. Not positioned for a different vehicle, the beams matched her own headlights in height, width, spacing, like looking into a mirror from 400 yards away. Kern's throat tightened, her vision narrowed. She put her truck in reverse and backed out of Fire Road 12 without turning around, eyes locked on the headlights that followed her in perfect synchronization until she cleared the entrance. She filed a report identical to Torres's, same atmospheric terminology, Same optical phenomenon language. But when she got home that morning, she didn't sleep. She sat at her kitchen table and wrote a second report, an unofficial one, a report that stayed in her personal files and was never submitted. In that report she wrote, "The headlights are not reflecting our lights, they are us. Some version of us that exists 400 yards ahead, driving the same road, making the same choices. When we stop, it stops because we are the same vehicle. When we reverse, it reverses because there is no other driver. There is only us, twice. And I don't know which version is real." Kern took medical leave the next day. She did not return to Fire Road 12. She did not return to the Forest Service. The third account is the most disturbing because it comes from two rangers simultaneously. In 2018, the Forest Service decided to test the phenomenon scientifically. If headlights were appearing on Fire Road 12 during overnight patrols, they would send two vehicles, one from each end, and document what happened when they met. Rangers Aaron Voss and Catherine Liu volunteered. Both were experienced, both were skeptics. Both had reviewed the previous reports and dismissed them as either misidentification or elaborate pranks. The plan was simple. Voss would enter from the south at 2:15. Liu would enter from the north at the same time. They would drive toward each other at 15 miles per hour, maintaining radio contact and document their observations. If the headlights appeared, they'd have proof of where they came from. If they didn't appear, they'd have confirmation that the phenomenon was psychological or environmental rather than systematic. At 2 hours, 15 minutes, and 0 seconds, both rangers entered Fire Road 12 from opposite ends. At 2 hours, 17 minutes, and 34 seconds, Voss reported seeing headlights approaching from the north. At 2 hours, 17 minutes, and 34 seconds, Liu reported seeing headlights approaching from the south. Both rangers were seeing headlights. Both rangers believed they were seeing each other. "Range 9, I have visual on your lights," Voss radioed, approximately 400 yards ahead. "Can you confirm?" "Confirmed, Range 8, Liu responded. "I have you visual as well, maintaining current speed." They drove toward each other. The distance between them should have been closing at a combined rate of 30 miles per hour. But the headlights stayed exactly where they were. Voss checked his odometer. He'd traveled another quarter mile. The lights ahead hadn't moved closer. "Range 9, you should be within 200 yards by now," Voss said. "I'm not seeing closure. What's your position?" "I'm seeing the same thing," Leo said, her voice tight. "You're still 400 yards ahead. My odometer says I've covered distance, but you're not getting closer." Both rangers slowed. Both checked their GPS. Both confirmed they were on Fire Road 12, driving toward each other from opposite directions, and both were moving forward. But the headlights never closed the gap. At 2 hours, 23 minutes, and 18 seconds, Voss stopped his vehicle. At 2 hours, 23 minutes, and 18 seconds, Leo's headlights stopped. "Range 9, did you just brake?" Voss asked. "No," Leo said. "You stopped. I saw your lights stop." Voss felt ice flood his veins. "I stopped," he said slowly, "but I saw your lights stop at the same moment." Silence on the radio. Then Liu's voice, barely above a whisper. "Range 8, turn off your headlights." "What?" "Turn them off. Right now. Don't argue." Voss hesitated. Then he reached forward and switched off his headlights. The lights ahead of him extinguished instantly. "They're off," Leo said. "Your lights just went off." "So did yours," Voss said, "at the exact same time." Another silence. Longer. The kind of silence that fills with understanding you don't want. "Range 8, Leo said, her voice shaking now. "I'm going to turn on my left turn signal. Tell me what you see." "Copy." A pause. Then Leo activated her turn signal. Voss watched the headlights ahead. The headlights that had supposedly been Liu's vehicle all along. A turn signal blinked on, left side. But it was on the right side of the lights ahead of him. Because if he was looking at an approaching vehicle, left and right would be reversed from his perspective. The turn signal was on the wrong side. It was on his left, the same side his own turn signal would appear if someone were watching him from ahead. "Range 9, Voss said, his voice hollow. "Your signal is on my left." "That's impossible," Leo said. "I activated my left signal. From your perspective, it should be on your right." "It's not." "Then what I'm seeing," Leo's voice trailed off, "is not me," Voss finished. Both Rangers sat in their vehicles, engines idling, lights off, trying to process what they just confirmed. They weren't seeing each other. They were each seeing headlights that matched their own vehicle, headlights that responded instantly to every input because they weren't separate vehicles. They were reflections. Not in glass or water, reflections in space. Some version of their own vehicle projected 400 yards ahead, existing at the same moment, moving in perfect synchronization because there was no delay between action and mirror. The road was reflecting them back at themselves. At 2 hours, 31 minutes and 5 seconds, Voss turned his headlights back on. The lights ahead returned. At 2 hours, 31 minutes and 5 seconds, Leo turned her headlights back on. The lights ahead of her returned too. Both Rangers put their vehicles in reverse. Both backed out of Fire Road 12 without turning around. Both watched their respective headlight reflections follow them until they cleared the access points. Both filed incident reports. Both requested immediate transfer to different districts. Both transfers were approved. And Fire Road 12 was officially closed between 2 and 4 a.m. No patrols, no exceptions. The closure was logged as routine maintenance window. The real reason was never written down. The current protocol for Fire Road 12 is buried in the duty roster under scheduled closures. No patrols between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock. No emergency access during closure window except with supervisor authorization and 2-vehicle minimum. No solo runs. No exceptions. But there are unwritten rules every ranger learns. If you see headlights on Fire Road 12 outside the closure window during approved patrol hours, do not assume it's another ranger. Do not flash your lights to signal. Do not attempt to close distance. Radio dispatch immediately. Confirm no other units are on the road. If no other units are present, turn around. Leave the road. Do not proceed forward. Because if the headlights stay exactly 400 yards away no matter how fast you drive, they're not someone else. They're you. Some version of you that exists in the space ahead, driving the same road, making the same choices, perfectly synchronized because you are the same event happening in 2 locations simultaneously. And if you stop and turn off your lights, that version stops too. Because there is no delay between you and it. There is only one vehicle. Yours. Reflected through Fire Road 12 like a road that has learned to be a mirror. In 2020, a ranger named David Chen ignored the protocol. Chen was new, 6 weeks into the job. He hadn't been briefed on Fire Road 12 because the closure was listed as maintenance, and new rangers weren't told why certain roads required restricted access. He drew overnight patrol duty and checked the roster. Fire Road 12 was listed as open from 4 o'clock to 2 o'clock. The gap between 2 and 4 a.m. wasn't explained. Chen assumed it was a typo. At 2:37 a.m., Chen entered Fire Road 12 from the south access point. At 2:41 a.m., he saw headlights approaching from the north. Chen slowed. He wasn't concerned. Another ranger, probably running late, probably finishing a patrol before the maintenance window closed. He continued forward. The headlights stayed fixed at the same distance. Chen checked his speed. 15 miles per hour. He checked the lights. Still there. Still not closing. He radioed dispatch. Range 12 to base. I have another vehicle on Fire Road 12, northbound. Can you confirm unit? Range 12, Fire Road 12 is closed for maintenance. You are not authorized to be on that road. Exit immediately. Chen's stomach dropped. Copy, but I am on the road, and there's another vehicle ahead. Negative. Range 12. There is no other vehicle. You are the only unit. Exit Fire Road 12 now. Chen stopped his truck. His hands shook on the wheel. The headlights ahead stopped at exactly the same moment. Chen turned off his headlights. The lights ahead extinguished instantly. He sat in the dark, his breath shallow, his heart hammering. He counted to 10, turned his lights back on. The lights ahead returned. Chen put his truck in reverse. He was going to back out. He was going to leave. But as he started to move, something made him stop. He looked at his side mirror, checked the reflection of his own headlights in the mirror. Then he looked ahead at the headlights 400 yards away. The angle matched. The spacing matched. The height matched. Chen reached up and adjusted his own headlight aim, tilting them slightly higher with the manual adjustment dial inside his truck. The headlights ahead tilted higher at the same instant. He adjusted them lower. The lights ahead lowered. He turned on his left turn signal. The lights ahead blinked. Left side from his perspective. The wrong side for an approaching vehicle. Chen turned off his signal. His throat was so tight he could barely breathe. He tried one more thing. He opened his driver's side door. The interior dome light came on, illuminating his cab. And 400 yards ahead, through the fog and darkness, he saw a faint glow. A dome light, turning on at the same moment, in a vehicle that wasn't there. Chen closed his door. The dome light went off. The glow ahead vanished. He sat perfectly still, hands gripping the wheel so hard his knuckles went white. Then he put his truck in reverse and backed down Fire Road 12 at 20 miles per hour, faster than was safe, but he couldn't make himself go slower. The headlights followed him, maintaining exact distance, never closing, never falling behind. When Chen reached the southern access point, the lights stopped at the entrance. They remained there, motionless, as he fled. Chen drove straight to the ranger station. He didn't file a report. He went directly to the supervisor's office at 3 a.m. and said, "I need to know what Fire Road 12 is." The supervisor looked at him for a long time. Then she pulled a file from a locked drawer. Inside were incident reports dating back to 2016. Torres, Kern, Voss, Liu. 15 other rangers whose names Chen didn't recognize. All reporting the same phenomenon, all requesting transfer, all approved. The supervisor closed the file. Fire Road 12 has a maintenance window between 2 and 4 a.m., she said. During that window, the road is closed. You will never patrol during that window. You will never enter Fire Road 12 during those hours. And if you see headlights on that road at any time, you will exit immediately. Do you understand? Chen nodded. Good, the supervisor said, because the road isn't broken. The road works exactly as designed. It gets you from point A to point B. The problem is that between 2 and 4 a.m., it also gets you from point A to point A, the same location, twice, simultaneously. And when you're in two places at once, you can see yourself coming from the other direction. Chen felt his vision tunnel. That's not possible. It shouldn't be, the supervisor agreed. But Fire Road 12 doesn't care what should be possible. Between 2 and 4 a.m. it reflects, not light. Space. You drive north, and 400 yards ahead is you driving north. You stop, and it stops because you are stopping. You are the vehicle ahead, and the vehicle ahead is you. The same moment, the same choice, The same person existing in two locations because the road has folded itself and you're driving both sides. Why? Chen asked. Why does it do that? The supervisor closed the file and locked it back in the drawer. We don't know. We measured. We tested. We sent 2 vehicles to see if they'd meet. They didn't. Because you can't meet yourself. You can only see yourself from the perspective of where you'll be in a few seconds, and where you were a few seconds ago, both happening now. She looked at Chen with an expression somewhere between pity and warning. The closure stays. The protocol stays. And you never enter Fire Road 12 between 2 and 4 a.m., because if you do, you'll be driving toward yourself forever, never closing the distance, never reaching the other end, just following your own headlights through a road that has learned how to be in 2 places at once. Today, Fire Road 12 remains in active use. Rangers patrol it twice daily, morning and evening. The road is clear. The road is functional. The road works exactly as it should, except between 2 and 4 a.m. During those 2 hours, Fire Road 12 exists in a state that has no name in the maintenance manual, a state where distance becomes negotiable, where cause and effect happen simultaneously, where the road ahead is also the road behind because the road has folded through itself and you're driving both directions at once. If you enter Fire Road 12 during the closure window, you'll see headlights approaching. You'll assume it's another vehicle, another ranger who didn't get the memo, someone who needs to be warned. You'll try to close the distance. You'll drive faster. You'll flash your lights. You'll radio for confirmation. And the headlights will match every move you make, instantly, perfectly, because they're not approaching. They're mirroring. Not your vehicle's image, your vehicle's existence. You are driving toward yourself, chasing your own headlights through a road that has forgotten the difference between north and south, between ahead and behind, between now and the same now happening 400 yards away. And when you finally understand, when you stop and turn off your lights and watch the reflections stop and darken at the exact same microsecond, you'll realize the terrible truth. You can't reach yourself. You can't close the gap, because the gap isn't distance. It's the space between 2 versions of the same moment, and no amount of driving will collapse them into one. The road keeps them separate, keeps them synchronized, keeps them 400 yards apart forever. 2 headlights, 1 vehicle, 0 distance traveled. If you're a ranger, check the closure schedule before you patrol. Check the authorized hours. And if Fire Road 12 shows a gap between 2 and 4 a.m., don't ask why. Don't assume it's a mistake. Don't think you can run a quick check during the window, because if you enter Fire Road 12 during those hours, you'll see headlights. And you'll spend the rest of your shift trying to reach them, trying to close distance that doesn't exist, trying to meet a driver who is you. The road doesn't care that you're the same person. It doesn't care that you're alone. It only cares that between 2 and 4 a.m., it reflects space instead of conducting it. And once you're on that road, you're driving in 2 directions. You're the headlights approaching. And you're the headlights you'll never reach. Forever, 400 yards apart. Forever synchronized. Forever trying to meet yourself on a road that has learned how to be a mirror.